In this session, I will be discussing about distributed database management system. The independent or decentralized system were the norms of early days of information management. There was duplication of hardware and facilities. The incapability procedures and lack of management control were the consequences of evolving nature of field. In the centralized system, the DBMS and data reside on a single location and control in processing is limited to that location only. However, many organizations are geographically dispersed in operation. The distributed database management systems are a database for managing databases stored on multiple computers in a network. A distributed database is a set of databases stored on multiple computers that typically appears to applications on a single database. Consequently, an application can simultaneously access and modify the data in several databases in a network. The growth of distributed database management systems has been fostered by the dispersion of business operations and rapid pace of technological change that has been made local and wide area network reliable. The distributed database management system treats a distributed database as a single logical database. Next, I will be discussing about the evolution and the need of distributed database management system. A distributed database management system governs the storage and processing of logically related data over interconnected computer systems in which both the data and processing functions are distributed among several sites. During the 1970s, the corporations implemented centralized database management system to meet their structured information needs. The structured information is usually represented as regularly issued formal reports in a standard format. Such information, generated by third generation programming language, is created by the specialist in response to precisely request. Basically, the use of centralized database required that corporate data to be stored in a single central site, usually a mainframe or a mid-range computer. The data access was provided by the dumb terminals. The centralized approach worked well to fill the structured information needs of the corporation, but it fell short when quickly moving events required faster response time and equally access to the information. This leads to the problem for the decision maker in a dynamic environment, and thereby arose the need of distributed database management systems. The database management system based on relational model could provide an environment in which unstructured information needs would be met by employing ad hoc queries. End users would be given the ability to access the data when needed. Unfortunately, the early relational model implementations did not deliver acceptable throughput when compared to well-established other models at that duration network and hierarchical model. Around 1980s came a series of crucial social and technological changes that affected the database development and design. Those changes were business operations became more decentralized geographically and the competition increased at a global level. Thereby again arose the need of distributed database management systems. A distributed database is a collection of multiple logical interrelated databases distributed over a computer network, or we can say a distributed database is a database that is under control of central database management system in which storage devices are not all attached to a common CPU. It may be stored in multiple computer locations in same physical location or maybe in a dispersed area over a network by the means of interconnected computers. A distributed database is not stored in its entirely a single physical location. Instead, it's spread across a network of computers that are geographically dispersed and connected by communication links. A distributed database allows faster local queries and can reduce the network traffic. With these benefits come the issues of maintaining the data integrity. A key objective for distributed system is that it looks like a centralized system to the user. The user should not need to know where a piece of data is stored physically. There are some important properties related to distributed database management system. These are: the system consists of loosely coupled sites that share no physical component. The database system that run on each site are independent of each other, and the transactions may access the data at one or more sites. The loosely coupled system basically is the one in which the hardware and the software may interact, but they are not dependent on each other to work. Computers in network are considered as loosely coupled system, as a client machine may request data from the server, but the two systems also work independently of each other. A distributed database management system is a software that permits a management of distributed database and make distribution transparent to the user. The collection of data can be distributed across multiple physical locations. A distributed database can reside on network server, on the internet, or on corporate intranets or the extranet or any other company network. The replication and distribution of databases improve database performance at end-user work site. A distributed database doesn't share the main memory or disk. So the transaction basically is a single unit of work which access and possibly modify the contents of database, thereby called a transaction. The transaction could be either a local transaction or a global transaction. The data, if accessed from a local state, is termed to be a local transaction, or in other words, when data is accessed from the home site, it is termed as local transaction. The global transaction is the one which accesses the data in a state different from our where it was initiated. It may involve number of sub-transactions. The concept of distributed database was built with a goal to improve the basic three factors: reliability, availability, and performance. In distributed database system, if one system fails down or stop working for some time, another system can complete the task. In distributed database system, the reliability can be achieved even if the server fails down and another system is available to serve the client request. The performance can be achieved by distributing database over different locations. So the databases are available to every location, which is easy to maintain. Thereby, each of the factor reliability, availability, and performance is achieved. Next, I will be discussing about distributed processing in distributed databases. In distributed processing, a database logical processing is shared among two or more physically independent sites that are connected through a network. For example, the data input, output, the data selection and data validation might be performed on one computer, and a report based on the data might be processed by another computer. In a basic distributed processing environment, a distributed processing system shares a data processing core among n number of sites connected through a communication link, that is, network. Database can be resided at only one site. Each site can access the data and update the database. A distributed database, on the other hand, stores a logically related database over two or more physically independent sites. These sites are connected via a computer network. In contrast, the distributed processing system uses only single-site database but share the processing cores among several sites. In distributed database, the database is composed of several parts known as database fragments, and the database fragments are located at different sites and replicated on different sites. The distributed database management system performs various functions but not limited only to the application interface, formatting. This formatting is basically the data formatting for presentation to end user or to an application program, concurrency control, transaction management, database administration, which includes the functioning of DBA, security, backup, and recovery, input-output interface, which is used to read and write data to and from the permanent storage, and query optimization. This is used to find the best access strategy. The distributed database management system could be or heterogeneous in nature. The homogeneous distributed database system are those in which the database technology is same at each location and the data at various locations are also compatible. In homogeneous system, all the nodes use same hardware and software for the database system. The homogeneous system is much easier to design and manage. The conditions that must be satisfied for homogeneous database are: all the sites should have identical software, the operating system used at each location must be same or compatible, the data structures used at each location must be same or compatible, and aware of each other and agree to cooperate in processing user requests. Each site surrender the part of its autonomy in terms of right to change the schema or software and appears to user as a single. The autonomy basically refers to the uniformity or dissimilarity of data models, the system component, and the databases. The heterogeneous database system are opposite to homogeneous database system. In heterogeneous database system, different nodes may have different hardware and software and data structure at various nodes, locations, and also may be incompatible. Different computers and operating system, database application or data models may be used at each of the location. For example, one location may have the latest relational database management technology, while another location may store data using conventional file or old version of database management system. Similarly, one location may have Windows NT operating system, while another may have the Unix operating system. The heterogeneous systems are usually used when individual sites use their own hardware and software. On heterogeneous system, the translations are required to allow communication between different sites or DBMS system. In this system, the user must be able to make requests in a database language at their local site. Usually, SQL, the database language, is used for this purpose. If hardware is different, then translation is straightforward, in which computer codes and the word length is changed. In heterogeneous distributed databases, the different sites may use different schema and software. The difference in schema is a major problem for the query processing, and difference in software is a major problem for transaction processing. Also, the sites may not be aware of each other and may provide only limited facilities of cooperation in transaction processing.